Hello everyone. Today we're going to be measuring volume, specifically the volume of a liquid using a piece of equipment called a graduated cylinder. Now the graduated cylinder is just a clear tube. You pour liquid into it and there are markings on the side, and whatever it fills up to, that marking will tell you the volume. And remember that volume is just the amount of space that an object takes up. So if we look closely at these markings, we can see that they're in units of milliliters. So whatever volume we read off of this will be in milliliters. You can see here the line for 9 milliliters and the line for 10 milliliters. If you were to count the marks in between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 markings in between, so each marks a tenth of a milliliter. So this would be 9.1 milliliters, 9.2, 9.3, 9.4. Every graduated cylinder could potentially be different though, so you will need to count those markings and see what each one means for every particular cylinder that you use. Most of the time they will be marked off in tenths, but not always. So this seems pretty simple. You pour the liquid in, whatever the liquid or whatever line the liquid fills up to tells you the volume. The only complication in this is something called a meniscus. And when you pour a liquid into the tube, because of the liquid's attraction to itself, it will form this U shape that we call a meniscus. Now the water in this tube forms a meniscus that curves upward along the outer sides of the wall. It's also possible to have one that curves downward, but either way, when you measure the volume, you always measure from the top of that curve, or in this case the bottom. So you're looking for that point right there to measure the volume. But we're also making another classic mistake here. When you read the volume off a graduated cylinder, you always need to have your eye on level with the meniscus. So let's look at a picture where we're looking at this on eye level. Now you can very clearly see that U shape of the meniscus, and we can proceed to measure the volume. It goes all the way up to the 3 milliliter line, so we know the 3 for sure. And if we count the small markings in between, there's 3.1, 3.2, and the meniscus, the bottom of it doesn't quite get to 3.3. So the volume of this is somewhere between 3.2 and 3.3. You always want to estimate to one more place past that. So 3.2, and I'm going to guess this is about 3.27. It's almost a 3.3, but not quite. So if I were going to give the volume of this liquid, I would say that this is 3.27 milliliters. Now what we've done there is included some information that is a guess. That 7 is what we call an uncertain digit. We're sure of the 3. We know for sure it's 3 milliliters and not 4. We also know for sure that it's 3.2 and not 3.3. That 7, however, is a guess. Every time you make these measurements, I want you to guess one place past. And we are going to know that whatever that one place is, that we're uncertain about it. The actual volume may be 3.26, could be 3.28, but we guessed 3.27. As long as we know that it's a guess, and you'll learn how to do that when we use significant digits, then we are recording this volume accurately.